process of happiness and distress. According to Vedic injunction, one has to take his bath early in the morning, even during the month of Magha, Jan to February. It is very cold at that time, but in spite of that a man who abides by the religious principles does not hesitate to take his bath. Similarly, a woman does not hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the months of May and June, the hottest part of the summer season. One has to execute his duty in spite of climatic inconveniences. Similarly, to fight is the religious principle of Kshatriyas, and although one has to fight uh, fight with some friend or relative, one should not deviate from his prescribed duty. One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge, because by knowledge and devotion only can one liberate himself from the clutches of Maya. The two different names of address given to Arjuna are also significant. To address him as Kaunteya signifies his great blood relation from his mother's side, and to address him as Bharata signifies his greatness from his father's side. From both sides, he is supposed to have great heritage. A great heritage brings responsibility in the matter of proper discharge of duties. Therefore, he cannot avoid fighting. Prabhuji, this one we have completed. Sorry, Prabhuji.
Okay, this is done.
Yeah, it is done.
Okay, no problem. So, but anyway, like this is very wonderful shloka,
Yes.
and this generally tells that in any circumstances, so
Okay.
we should, we see that there's only one thing permanent in this world, and that is nothing is permanent, and we should tolerate the material, conditioning will keep on changing, and we should tolerate it, and we should keep going on. And going on means what? Going on means we should focus on the spiritual subjects. Material life will keep on changing. I mean, happiness, distress. But the spirituality, we have to put it out first. Spirituality, we should give more importance to the spiritual life. We should give more importance to what Krishna is saying. We should try to follow that. Okay. Yes. And 15 we have to do, or 15 is also done.
No, Prabhuji, we have not done 15.
Okay, we'll do 15. So actually 14, 15 is kind of connected to each other. Anyway, we'll go ahead with the 15. So yam nahi na vyatatam te te.
Yam nahi na
Yadayante
vyadayante
te.
te.
Yam nahi na vyatayante te.
Yam
Hina
vyadayante
vyatayante
te.
te.
Purusham purusharashabha.
Purusham
Purusharshabha.
Purusharshaba.
Tam dukkha sukham dhiram.
Tam dukkha
Samdukka
sukham
sukam
dhiram.
dhiram.
So amrit tattvaya kalpate.
So
So
amrit tatvaya
tatvaya
kalpate.
kalpate.
Some of you can read if you want.
Yam hina vyadayante te. Purusham Purusharshaba. Samadukkham Sukham Dhiram. Sonmrutatatvaya kalpate.
Yam hina vyatayanti te. Purusham purusharshabha. Samadukka sukam dhiram. So amritatvaya kalpate.
Good. Anybody else?
यं हीना व्यथयन्ते ते पुरुषं पुरुषर्षभ समदुःखसुखं धीरसो कायकल्प.
So basically, yeah. So now, suppose Arjuna, because Krishna is going to tell them, see, Arjuna, I'm Krishna, I'm the God. So Arjuna might tell that if you are the God, or if you are the supreme personality of Godhead, if you are Bhagavan, why don't you just sort out everything? I mean, you just finish all my problems, and if you are the God, you can do that. You finish all my problems, just change everyone's mind, just fix up everything, and thus no dukkha in our life. So now Krishna, that's why Krishna, before starting further the philosophical, points, Krishna is making sure here to Arjuna that Arjuna, see, basically, it's the nature of this world that there will be sukha and there will be dukkha, there will be dukkha and there will be sukha. So one must learn to tolerate. So everything, whatever sukha and dukkha we are getting in our life, it's the result of our previous karmas, and we are supposed to be, suffer or enjoy that sukha and dukkha. And so actually, one more thing is important. One more point here is very important, that not only we have to tolerate dukkha, but then we have to tolerate sukha also. So generally, if there is dukkha in our life, we go into depression. But if there is sukha in our life, we go to, we become proud, and we, develop some kind of arrogance. If everything is going good in our life, we sometimes get kind of puffed up. So Krishna is saying that one must learn to tolerate both, sukha and dukkha both. So tolerating sukha and dukkha means you will be accepting yourself as servant of Krishna. So if we consider ourselves as servant of Krishna, if we consider ourselves as, someone who is supposed to be serving Krishna, and someone who is supposed to be living a life which can please Krishna. So that should be the motive of our life. So whether we have sukha in our life, we should consider that it's an award given by Krishna to me. Okay, and if we have dukkha in our life, we should consider that it is Krishna is trying to teach me something. Actually, it's the result of my own past karmas. But then, I'm getting this dukkha. Sometimes, like parents or the teachers, they, sometimes punish the children. So why do they punish? They punish to teach the lesson. They just punish to correct. They just punish to rectify and make the child a better person. So this would be the mentality when we have sukha and dukkha in our life. It is generally saying that people who jump in their houses and they're happy, they jump from the window of their house when they're sad. So basically, we should learn sukha and dukkha. We should learn to tolerate sukha and dukkha both. If you see, many times, specifically Sugriva. Okay, so in Ramayana, there are three monkeys, very famous monkeys. One is, can someone help me knowing the names? Three
Nalan,
important monkeys.
Nalan, Neelan, Angadan, Nalan, Need, Angad,
Yeah, more
Sugriv,
people. Sugriva, yeah. Next,
Vali,
Bali, yeah.
Bari,
So and Hanumanji.
Hanuman.
So Sugriva, Bali, and Hanumanji. So these three are, the very famous characters of, who was kind of monkeys of the Ramayana. Hmm. So now, so if you see the life of Sugriva, so Sugriva represents, mindset of a personality who if gets trouble or dukkha in their life, you know, goes into depression. He becomes very morose, uh, and Bali is the kind of personality who, when gets, troubles in the life, becomes very hard. You know. Now, the example of egg, the example of, a potato is given over here. So now, when you boil the potato, it becomes, weak. I mean, initially the potato is hard, but when you boil inside the water, basically, that represents that when the troubles comes in the life of the people like potato, initially they'll be tough, but when they see the problems in their life, they becomes very weak. That anybody can crush them, smash them. So that's kind of Sugriva. So he was kind of, powerful personality. But then in his life, something happened. You all might be knowing the story. So, and he was kind of chastised by the Bali, or he was, kind of, the Bali tried to kill him, and he just ran from his house, and he became very much morose, and he went into kind of a very low, in his mental status. The Bali, you know, he he was fighting with that Asura, and then, the Sugriva, he just closed the door of the mountain, And then the Bali, he felt as if he was cheated. Okay. And then what happened? The Bali became very hard. So it's kind of egg. Egg initially is very soft, very liquidy kind of from within. But when the egg is boiled, it becomes hard. Now the Bali represents a kind of personality who initially is soft, a good person, but when these kind of people, when the troubles come in their life, they becomes very hard. Their mentality is no, I should not now favor anyone. I should be tough with everyone, and they become kind of very tough, difficult person. Now there is a third category of person, and that is Hanumanji. Now Hanuman is considered, to be kind of a coffee. So when a coffee is put inside the water, boiling water, then initially the coffee doesn't look great. It's kind of blackish in color and all. But when you put that coffee inside the water, the coffee increases the beauty of the water. Rather, when the same coffee is served to different people, it brings a good taste in everyone's life. It gives a good appearance to the water also. So this is a positive mindset mentality. Who and Hanumanji is a perfect devotee of Krishna or Lord Rama. And then he actually helped Sugriva also. He went in the life of Sugriva. He went in the life of Lord Rama as well. Lord Rama was also having trouble or problem because Sita Maya was stealed by this Ravana. Now, and then you see how the life of Hanumanji also became very great. He served Sugriva, he served Lord Rama, he let the Lord Rama and Sugriva be friend, and that's how we see, how great character Hanumanji becomes. So the point is what I'm trying to tell, that we should be tolerating Sukha and we should be tolerating Dukkha. If you don't tolerate Sukha might give you pride, or it might make you arrogant. So then we should, whenever we get sukha, we should not give credit to ourselves that the sukha in my life is all because of my efforts. Rather, we should consider that the sukha which I have in my life, it's all by the mercy of Krishna. And similarly, when we get dukha, we should have the mentality that whatever dukha I have, whatever the problems I have in my life, it is to give me some lessons. It is to give me some kind of learning, and it is to make me better person in my life. So now here Krishna is saying a person who tolerates. So here he's saying a person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Amrit Tattva Kalpati, he is going to get the Amrita. Means he is going to get the final destination, is going to get the all success in their life. Be you are in a material life or in spiritual path. Whatever efforts you're putting in, if you learn the art of tolerance, then nobody can stop you in becoming successful. See, the art of tolerance, actually tolerating means many times we say that how much more I can tolerate. I can't tolerate more. I have to somehow rebel. Okay. But the fact is that, this tolerance is very wonderful quality. And if you don't learn to tolerate, you'll be always disturbed in your life. So now I will request some of you to read this translation purpose.
Can I
Yes,
read, Prabhuji?
someone please read.
Anyone who is steady in his determination for the advanced stage of spiritual realization and can equally tolerate the onslaughts of distress and happiness is certainly a person eligible for liberation. In
So
the
Aditi
Varnash,
Mataji, can you read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So I'm not able to hear, I guess. You are reading.
No,
You're
sir,
reading?
sir, I will start reading from next week. Can, sir, please, sir.
One second.
I was not ready today, actually.
Can you hear? Yo, I'm not able to hear. नहीं, हम लोग बोल रहे नहीं आ रहा.
Prabhuji,
Aditi
Pavitra was reading Prabhuji actually.
अच्छा. No, actually I could not hear. Now I can hear. I think. इससे नहीं आ रहा
Okay.
था.
Pavitra, you
Yeah.
please read. Please continue.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Please.
Anyone who is steady in his determination for the advanced stage of spiritual realization and can equally tolerate the onslaughts of distress and
ऐसा
happiness
बताओ पड़ेगा.
is certainly a person eligible for liberation. In the Varnashrama institution, the fourth stage of life, namely the renounced order, sannyasa, is a painstaking situation. But one who is serious about making his life perfect surely adopts the sannyasa order of life in spite of all difficulties. The difficulties usually rise from having to sever family relationships to give up the connection of wife and children. But if anyone is able to tolerate such difficulties, surely his path to spiritual realization is complete. Similarly, in Arjuna's discharge of duties as a Kshatriya, he is advised to persevere, even if it is difficult to fight with his family members or similarly beloved persons. Lord Chaitanya took sannyasa at the age of 24, and his dependents, young wife as well as old mother, had no one else to look after them. Yet, for a higher cause, he took sannyasa and was steady in the discharge of higher duties. That is the way of achieving liberation from material bondage. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Anybody has any question in these two slokas? Because these are very practical, teachings in these two slokas. No questions? So basically, we have to tolerate the material life. So they're just saying matter doesn't matter. Anyway, so let's go to next sloka. Na sato vidyate bhavo.
Na sate
sato
vidyuto
vidyate bhavo.
bhavo.
Na bhavo vidyate satah.
Na bhavo vidyate
vidyute
satah.
satah.
Ubayorapi drishto anta.
Ubayorapi drishto anta.
Drishyonta.
Tvanyo tattva darshibhi.
Stvanyostattva dharshibhi.
Yes, some of you can read.
Na sato vidyate bhavo. Na bhavo vidyate satah. Ubayorapi drishto anta. Stvanyostattva dharshibhi. Hare Krishna. Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
Na sato vidyate bhavo. Na bhavo vidyate satah. Ubayorapi drishyonanta. Anvayostattvadarshibhi.
Tvanyo tattva darshibhi. Anyway, thank you. Anybody else wants to try? Okay. So someone read translation and purport. I think Aditi Mataji, you can read now. Hare Krishna. So you want to try probably? Yes.
Those who are seer of the truth have concluded that of the non-existence, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. Purport. There is no endurance of the changing body, that the body is changing every moment by the actions and reactions of the different cells is admitted by modern medical science, and thus growth and old age are taking place in the body. But the spirit soul exists permanently, remaining the same despite of all changes of the body and the mind. That is the difference between matter and spirit. By nature, the body is ever changing and the soul is eternal. This conclusion is established by all classes of seers of the truth, both impersonists and personists. In the Vishnu Purana 2.12.38, it is stated that Vishnu and his abodes all have self-illuminated spiritual existence. Jyotismi Vishnu Bhuvanani Vishnu. The words existent and non-existent refer only to spirit and matter. That is the version of all seers of truth. This is the beginning of the instruction by the Lord, the living entities, who are bewildered by the influence of ignorance. Removal of ignorance involves the establishment of the eternal relationship between the worshipper and the worshipable, and the consequent understanding of the difference between the part and parcel living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can understand the nature of the Supreme by through the study of oneself. The difference between oneself and the Supreme Being understood as the relationship between the part and the whole. In the Vedanta Sutras, as well as in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme has been accepted as the origin of all emanations. Such emanations are experienced by superior and inferior natural sequences. The living entities belong to the superior nature, as it will be revealed in the 7th chapter. Although there is no difference between the energy and the energetic is accepted as the supreme, and the energy or the nature is accepted as the subordinate. The living entities, therefore, are always subordinate to the Supreme Lord, as in the case of the master and the servant, or the teacher and the taught. Such clear knowledge is impossible to understand under the spell of ignorance. And to drive away such ignorance, the Lord teaches the Bhagavad Gita for the enlightenment of all living entities for all time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So here Krishna is saying that clearly Krishna is mentioning the difference between the body and soul, and he is emphasizing here that the body is not fixed. Body keeps on changing, and the soul, it never changes. Soul is always constant. So so we were a child. I mean, the body was a child, and we were constant. We are the soul. The soul was constant. That's how when we meet anybody, we say that I met you. So who was that I? The whole body changed. We were a child. We had small hands, small, everything body. Now we are grown up. But still we say, I have met you 10 years back. I have met you 20 years back. So who is that I, which is constant? Who was that time same, this time same? So that is the soul. So this they have concluded by studying the nature of both. So it's mentioned that the people who know the truth, they have done great study. They have studied the nature of the body, they have studied the nature of the soul, and they have concluded that the body is changing, all the time changing. Even it's mentioned in biology also that in a span of 7 years, all the cells of the body becomes changed. So the whole body becomes totally different. Okay, that's how this concept of reincarnation. So reincarnation means the totally different body. Okay, so even in this life also, we change the body. We are changing the body every moment, but the soul remains same. So similarly, when the body becomes useless, it's like you repair your house once, twice, thrice, but there is a time when you can't repair further. You have to change the house. So that is called death basically. So death means basically when the body cannot be further repaired. Otherwise, by the nature's law, if some disease is happening, or if the body part is getting injured, or some issues are here and there, the body keeps on repairing. The body keeps on changing. But when further no change is possible, then the soul leaves the body and goes to the next body by the arrangement of God. And that is what we called death and rebirth.
So here, Prabhupada has touched many concepts, and primarily he was trying to tell, that apart from discussing the difference between the body, which is matter, and the soul, which is spirit, he further, discussed the difference between the Lord and the living entity. So the living entity is also soul, and God is a super soul, and living entity is the part of the super soul. So these are a few points which Srila Prabhupada has discussed here. Now let's go to next sloka. If anybody has any query or question, you can interrupt and we can discuss, and then we can move ahead. Okay, any question?
Yes, please, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam, Prabhu.
Yes, yes,
Prabhu,
brother.
so Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, as you told that super soul, we are the part, the soul is a part of super soul. Okay,
Correct.
we are part and parts of super soul. So, because as super soul is described as made up of three entities, Sat, Chit, and Anand, right, Prabhu?
Correct. Yeah.
Hello, Prabhu.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
So does it mean that we, the soul, which is a part and parcel of the super soul, is also made up of Satchitananand?
Perfect. Correct. Yeah.
Okay, that I just wanted to confirm. Thank you, Prabhu.
So the way, this material body is made up of air, water, earth, this fire and ether. Similarly, so this is material body made up of. Apart from this gross elements, we have also mind, intelligence, and false ego. Similarly, the spiritual elements are Satchit and Anand. So these are three spiritual elements. The way we can't see mind, intelligence, and false ego. Similarly, the Satchit Anand is what the composition of the spiritual bodies. Okay, so we can't perceive these kind of elements in this material world because they're spiritual elements, and this is what is what is constituted in the Lord's body, and basically that's the composition of our soul. Okay, so let's go to next sloka. Avinashi tu tadvidhi
Avinashi tu tadvidhi
yena sarvam idam tatam
yena sarvam idam
tatam
tatam
vinasam avyayasya sha
vinasham
vinasham
avyayasyasya
na kaschit kartumarhati.
na kaschid kartumarhati.
Yes, you can read.
Avinashi tu tadvidhi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasham avyayasyasya na kaschit kartumarhati. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततं विनाशमव्यस्यास न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So now we'll read the translation and purport. 3 devotees have read. Now who is the fourth one?
Prabhu, may I?
Yes, please.
That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul.
Now purport, yeah.
Purport. This verse more clearly explains the real nature of the soul, which is spread all over the body. Anyone can understand. Anybody can understand what is spread all over the body. It is consciousness. Everyone is conscious of the pains and pleasures of the body in part or as a whole. This spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. The pains and pleasures of one body are unknown to another. Therefore, each and every body is the embodiment of an individual soul, and the symptom of the soul's presence is perceived as individual consciousness. This soul is described as 1/10,000 part of the upper portion of the hair point in size. The Shwe- Shvetashvara
Shweta Upanishad, yeah.
Upanishad 5.9 confirms this. Balagra Shata Bhagasya
Balagra Satbhagasya Satadha Kalpitasya cha Bhago Jiva Savignena Sa cha Anantaya Kalpate. Yes, Mataji. Please continue.
Okay. So, thank you. When the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again, each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts.
100.
Each such, 100 parts. Each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. Similarly, the same version is stated. You read it. It's very difficult to pronounce.
Ke Sagra Satbhagasya Satam Sha Sadrisatmaka Jiva Sukshma Sarupoyam Sankhya hi Chitkana.
There are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms, which are measured as 1/10,000 of the upper portion of the hair. Therefore, the individual particle of a spirit soul is a spiritual atom smaller than the material atoms, and such atoms are innumerable. This very small spiritual spark is the basic principle of the material body. And the influence of such a spiritual spark is spread all over the body, as the influence of the active principles of some medicine spread throughout the body. This current of the spirit soul is felt all over the body as consciousness, and that is the proof of the presence of the soul. Any layman can understand that the material body minus consciousness is a dead body, and this consciousness and this conscious
This consciousness cannot be revived. Hare Krishna. And this consciousness cannot be revived in the body by any means of material administration. Therefore, consciousness is not
cannot
due
be
to any
revived in the body by any means of material administration. Therefore, consciousness is not due to any uh,
amount of
Any amount of material combination.
atomic spirit soul is further explained.
okay. So eso nuratma chetasa veditavyo yasmin pranaha panchadha samvishesha प्राणैश्चित्तं सर्वमूतं प्रजानं यस्मिन् विशुद्धे विभवति स आत्मा. Yes, Mataji, please
The
read.
soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. This atomic soul is floating in the five. ठीक है.
5 kinds of air: prana, apana, vyana, Samana and Udana, and is situated within the heart and spreads its influence all over the body of the embodied living entities. When the soul is purified from the contamination of 5 kinds of material air, its spiritual influence is exhibited. The Hatha Yoga system is meant for controlling the 5 kinds of air encircling the pure soul by different kinds of sitting postures, not for any material profit, but for liberation of the minute soul from the entanglement of the material atmosphere. So the constitution of the atomic soul is admitted in all Vedic literatures, and it is also actually felt in the practical experience of any sane man. Only the insane man can think of this atomic soul as all pervading Vishnu Tattva. The influence of the atomic soul can be spread all over the particular body. According to the Mundaka Upanishad, this atomic soul is situated in the heart of every living entity. And because the measurement of the atomic soul is beyond the power of appreciation of the material scientists, some of them assert foolishly that there is no soul. The individual atomic soul is definitely there in the heart along with the super soul, and thus all the energies of bodily movement are emanating from this part of the body. The corpuscles which carry the oxygen from the lungs gather energy from the soul. When the soul passes away from this position, the activity of the blood donating fusion ceases. Medical science accepts the importance of the red corpuscles, but it cannot ascertain that the source of energy is the soul. Medical science, however, does admit that the heart is the seat of all energy of the body. Such atomic particles of the spirit whole are compared to the sunshine molecules. In the sunshine, there are innumerable radiant molecules. Similarly, the fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord are atomic sparks of the rays of the Supreme Lord, called by the name Prabha or superior energy. So whether one follows Vedic knowledge or modern science, one cannot deny the existence of a spirit soul in the body. And the science of the soul explicitly described in the Bhagavad Gita by Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Wonderful sloka and lots of wonderful examples and in practical modern scientific ways explained by Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada is saying that, there's something called consciousness. The consciousness is basically, it is the representation of the soul. So if the soul is given in a body, soul is present in a body, the body will be conscious. Otherwise, the body is dead. So it's like the way when the electricity is in the fan, you will see the blades of the fan are moving, or the movement of the blades of the fan. It indicates the presence of electricity in the fan. Similarly, the consciousness or the movement of the limbs of the body or the feeling of pain and pleasure in every part of the body indicates the presence of the soul. Now the question comes that, where the soul stays. Now the soul stays in the heart. Soul stays in the heart. So basically, exactly in the area of the heart. So basically the heart is basically kind of hardware, but or the material or a matter, where the soul is spiritual. So soul, it's not that soul is kind of packed inside the heart, but the soul stays in the area of the heart. So Prabhupada is mentioning that when the veins of our body, they carry the bloods, and when these bloods, they come to the heart, and then this heart gives the energy. The soul provides the energy, and with that energy, the heart is able to cleanse or purify the dirty bloods, which is carried away throughout which is carrying away the dirt of all parts in the body through these veins. Now the next question comes. So basically the soul represents consciousness, and the soul stays inside the heart. Now with the soul, the pumping of the heart is due to the presence of the soul, and the soul is basically cleansing the heart, the blood of the body. Now the next question comes: the size of the soul. The size of the soul is also mentioned in the scriptures, and it says this 1/10,000 of the tip of the hair. That is the size of the soul. Again, we can't see the soul from any material instrument, even though we try, because the soul is not material. But just to understand that, it's a small spark, which it presents in the area of the heart, it makes the whole body active. Okay, so these are some points which is discussed in the sloka. And I think we have, while reading, we have went through all these points. However, if anybody has any questions or you want to add anything, you can add here. Hare Krishna. Anybody any question, query? No? Very nice.
No, Prabhuji.
I will read this sloka. We'll try to cover 18, 19, 20. Okay, so it's all the same thing, like different between the body and soul only. So we'll quickly go ahead. Antavantai me deha
Antavanta ime deha
nityasu yukta sharirinaha
nityasya yuktaha sharirinaha
anashino aprameyasya
anashino aprameyasya
yuddhasya bharata.
tasmadyuddhasva bharata.
Now we'll read directly translation purport. Some of you please read translation purport.
Prabhuji, I'll read.
Yes, please.
The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. The material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately or it may do so after 100 years. It is a question of time only. There is no chance of maintaining it indefinitely. But the spirit soul is so minute that it cannot ever be seen by an enemy, to say nothing of being killed. As mentioned in the previous verse, it is so small that no one can have any idea how to measure its dimension. So, from both viewpoints, there is no cause of lamentation, because the living entity, as he is, cannot be killed, nor can the material body be saved for any length of time or permanently protected. The minute particle of the whole spirit acquires this material body according to his work, and therefore observance of religious principles should be utilized. In the Vedanta Sutras, the living entity is qualified as light because he is part and parcel of the supreme light. As sunlight maintains the entire universe, so the light of the soul maintains this material body. As soon as the spirit soul is out of this material body, the body begins to decompose. Therefore, it is the spirit soul which maintains this body. The body itself is unimportant. Arjuna was advised to fight and not sacrifice the cause of religion for material bodily considerations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So now there will be one homework, and the homework is that we have to make a comparison table, and we have to write one side the body, other side the soul. And now from these slokas, we have to write down the qualities of the body, the points related to the body, and the points related to the soul. Okay. So now this sloka is talking about again the material body of it's again discussing the qualities of the soul and the body. So it's saying that the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity. So the soul, it's mentioned soul is indestructible. It's also mentioned that soul is immeasurable, and also mentioned here that so the soul or the living entity, which is the soul, is eternal. So three qualities of the soul is mentioned here. And it's mentioned that the material body is sure to come to an end. Okay. So Krishna is saying, see, that Arjuna, you are not the body, you are the soul. And actually, see, these points are coming up. Why? Because Arjuna raised the first point saying, I don't want to fight because I am feeling compassionate to my people. These family peoples who are my relatives. So I am feeling compassionate to them. Now Krishna is saying, see, first of all, they are not the body, they are the souls. And he's like, I don't want to kill them. So basically, Krishna is trying to tell that they are not the body, they're the soul. And so you can't kill them anyways. Okay. And if you're not killing them, So you're feeling as if you're not killing them, so they won't be killed. So it's the nature of the body that it's going to be finished. I mean, there is always an end to the body. So now, actually, the idea is that uh, even if Arjuna is having compassion to these people who are actually not the body but the soul, so actually he should kill these people because they're Kshatriya. And a Kshatriya, it's a kind of a judge, so to punish if somebody has done any sinful activity. Similarly, the Kshatriya king is supposed to be punishing the people for their welfare. So it's like if a person is sinful and if he is not given punishment, then the sin keeps on multiplying. The impact of the sin will keep on increasing, and the suffering for the sin which he has caused or she has caused will give more trouble. Okay, so that's how Krishna is saying Arjuna that Arjuna, you are a Kshatriya and you should fight these people, and that is how you should. So now, yeah, so this is the teaching of the sloka. Okay, anybody any question or query?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. So should we continue for 1-2 more sloka or?
Prabhuji, it's actually on you. Like it's till late for you, right? For us, it is day, so I think it's you can call that.
Okay, no problem. So we'll finish now and then we'll continue next week. So we finished, I think, 5 slokas today, correct?
Yes, Prabhuji. I think from 14.
15, 16, 17, 18. So 4
Yes.
slokas. Anyway, no problem. If anybody has any question, I can take, or else we'll wind up now. Hare Krishna. So no problem then. Vancha kalparubhisha kapa sindhubhyo cha pattanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namaste. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashta Shiva Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thanks for the time.
Thank you,
Hare
Babu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.